Okay, welcome to Sundays with Spirit. Just landing here. We still have a minute. Heidi is all over it. We're on time. We've got our question in the chat for anyone who would like to answer. So I'm going to take a moment and answer. Okay, so if you're here and you can share in the chat, where are you joining from and what is your intention? Hmm. Great. There's Jennifer. So nice to have you here all the time. Jennifer's like the choir of the Sundays with Spirit, like steady attendance. Beautiful. Great. Well, I'm going to start us off with a prayer. So my name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah. I am a staff member at the Power of Love Ministry. I have been a part of the ministry 13 years, which is great. A whole decade and a few years. So grateful to be here. I actually felt very excited when I was driving to get here from an event, but I was like, oh, I can't wait to land and do my thing. So let's start with a prayer, as we do in honor of Jennifer and everything she's taught us, that prayer is powerful and it's a good place to begin. So placing my hands over my heart, just settling in. Very grateful for this opportunity to come together, opening ourselves to the divine flow of intelligence, of wisdom, clarity, joy, all the qualities of spirit. Opening ourselves to have a healing, to have an insight, to be uplifted. So grateful to place myself in Spirit's hands, trusting that what is shared today is helpful for each and every person who's listening now and who will listen later. So grateful to just relax into this perfect unfoldment. And in gratitude, we express a willingness to go forward and share the beauty and the helpfulness of this message today and the music that will come, sharing that with all, knowing that we are one. In gratitude, we let this good be, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Good to see you, Alexi. Oh, good. We have some more folks joining us. Welcome, everybody, to Sundays with Spirit. Again, my name is Angela, and I am here hosting and speaking and singing. And it's so fun. I'm just going to close a window here because I think it's going to get, you probably won't hear any noise, but I will. So I'm just going to do that quickly. 1 second. Okay. All right. So I'm happy to be with here. And, the last few times I have shared at Sundays with Spirit, often it comes up that I also practice Kundalini yoga. And I'm not going to get all into that, but I might get more into it because it's an inspiring part of my spiritual path right now, right alongside A Course in Miracles. So I'd like to start the opening song that I would like to use is the opening chant that I do for a Kundalini yoga class. So that is the Adi mantra. And it is Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I'm going to put that in the chat. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So, and it auto-corrected me. There we go. So Om Namo Gurudev Namo, it means I bow to the infinite. So Namo is to bow. So in this mantra, we say it 2 times. So first we bow to the, people say it differently, to the infinite, to the divine, to the creative consciousness. Then the second is I bow to the guru within. So I bow to spirit within myself. So I'm going to just start with singing that. We usually chant it, but I'll sing it in the way that Sanatam Kaur sings it. If I can spell her name correctly, I think I can. She's a very popular Kundalini yoga or singer, musician. So I'm just going to start with that. So I'll just do that maybe 3 times. I don't know. We'll do whatever comes out. So here we go. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Okay, I'm going to pause. Are you hearing me with the sound? Is it going in and out? Because you know when people sing and then it leaves? Okay, good. So we're sticking with it. We'll do that a couple more times. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Gurudev Namo. Okay, so that's the Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So that is bowing to the Creator and bowing to Holy Spirit within ourselves. And then the second chant that we do to start Kundalini Yoga is a protection mantra. And it's almost like if anyone knows the sacred rays. So Jennifer in her Masterful Living program taught us about the 7 sacred flames. And it's like they're known as flames and they're referenced as rays, but they are colors and they correspond to a certain type of like spiritual power and even to an ascended master. So when we chant like a protection mantra, I often think of the blue ray of protection, which is associated with Saint Germain. I got to look that up. But I will do the second mantra is a bit longer, but it's Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Gurude Ve Name. So it's also known as the Mangala Charan mantra. And this is also like it says, I bow to the primal wisdom. I bow to the wisdom throughout the ages. I bow to the true wisdom. I bow to the great unseen. So I'll do that 3 times. And I think, yes, and I used to sing this to Justine when she was a baby, always. So it goes like this. Ah, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Gurudev Name. Ah, Gure Name, Jugad Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Gurudev Name. One more time. Ah, Gure Name. Juga Gure Name. Sa Gure Name. Siri Guru Deve Name. Okay, so we have bowed a whole lot, and we've bowed to the creative consciousness, we've bowed to the spirit within us, to the primal wisdom, the wisdom through the ages, and the great unseen. So thank you for letting me start this off as I would a Kundalini class. It was very fun. Um, so I feel inspired to have our talk today be a story of something that occurred to that happened yesterday, but also wanting to reference the lesson for today. So I am letting spirit do all the weaving. I just trust that we will be able to connect an experience I had yesterday with lesson 165, if I'm not mistaken. I am doing the daily lessons. However, some days I do miss, but I'm letting that be okay. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all a little bit about an event that I attended yesterday. And truly, often I feel like when I do sharing, I give you the spoiler alert. Like I just give it to you right off the top. And it was an experience where I guess it was like having an expectation of how something might play out, something playing out, and thinking that it didn't go well, and feeling a bit of a victim and feeling a bit, but not too much, which was exciting because I really wasn't full of emotion or anything. But then reflecting at the end, like, well, wait a minute, maybe that actually turned out to be much better than it would have. So just want to share with you this type of an experience, and then see how we can weave the lesson in there. So for anybody out there who's paying any attention to this World Cup soccer thing, okay, because over here in my home, is anybody taking any part in it? Give a couple. Nobody cares. Okay, that's fine. Maybe somebody does, but my daughter, who's 7.5, plays soccer. My husband is really into soccer. I was a different sport athlete. I was a field hockey player in college and high school, but very much now a soccer mom, I guess you'd say, and a soccer wife. So we ended up getting invited to go see Team Ghana. So Team Ghana, which is West African country, has their official practice site in Rhode Island, not far from where we live. And because my daughter is involved in this competitive soccer organization, they invited a certain number of people to come and kind of fill the stands and watch the Ghana soccer team train. So I had it on the calendar. I was planning to go. I honestly didn't know a lot of details. I thought it started at 5 o'clock. I just knew the starting time. And, I knew where I was going, but I didn't know much else. But then what happened is my daughter had a soccer game yesterday. So I sat next to another mom, and the mom said, somehow we came to realize we're both going to the event because we were the only two families from my daughter's team who did go. And she kind of said, well, it's so confusing. The first email said this and the second email said that. And I was like, there's two emails? Oh, wow. I only saw one. So then I realized pretty quickly I didn't have all the information. but I was excited. I was getting more information like, oh, good. I'm glad I sat next to you. So then we were working through some of the logistics, and she's pointing out some things that were confusing. And then I realized, oh, wait, I have a friend who works at the university who helped organize this whole thing. Let me just text her. And I did. And she confirmed some things. So we had a plan. Okay, it starts at 6. You get it here at this time. You have to print out this parking pass. There's a lot of security. So, so here we go. And then I started to make the family plan because as the mom of the family, my husband's more like, I'll show up, but he wasn't really involved in the nitty gritty of the planning. And I'm thinking about the food and I'm thinking about sunscreen. I'm just thinking all the things. So we get there, we go, we're on track. It's actually very smooth to get into this stadium, smooth. We had to wait a little bit, got through security, smooth. And then it said the event was starting at 6. So a lot of people there, and we're piling in to the stands, and we're all in this one area, which is just like sun beating on us. But it's like, okay, well, it's summer. What's what you're going to expect? Sun's beating on us. And they had said, can't bring any bags in. So, in the past, I'm somebody who kind of in the past would like to pack all the food that I want because I'm a bit picky, even though I'm a course student. I haven't fully neutralized like the hot dog. I haven't neutralized every concession stand food item because I would prefer other things. So there I am. I haven't fully even accomplished, is it lesson 1? Okay, so it seems I haven't graduated. So lesson 1, I got to hit that again. Who knows how many years, but here's one observation I made just before I even get through the rest of the story. I just noticed I have so much more calm within my being. Like, I don't know if you relate to this, like seeing yourself go into an experience that you've been in something similar previously and feeling like, wow, I would have normally been so much more controlling or so much more concerned. Or like the mom I had talked to at the practice, she's like, I'm feeling so anxious because because this is confusing. And I'm like, wow. And I felt so relaxed. And that's an overarching, I think, benefit, if you probably agree with me, but benefit of being a course student. And my yoga practice actually really, I think, fully also benefits my nervous system strong. So that was a beautiful side note that I'll make, is that I noticed I was so relaxed because normally you tell me I can't bring a bag in. My mind's going to start strategizing. Well, okay, moms have to bring diapers in and somebody else has to bring medical, there's got to be ways you can get things in there. So I was already starting to like poke holes through like, well, I can say this speech but I was like, you know what? So I'm somebody who, I really like staying super hydrated all the time. It's kind of part of the way it's a belief system I have that hydration is good. So I just pounded an apple before I went in and was like, okay, let's hydrate at the cellular level. Okay. And we'll do our best. And my daughter ate on the way. My husband was doing his thing. And I was like, we'll just have to buy something if we have to buy something, which that's really big improvement because otherwise I would have had a campaign. I might have snuck food in pockets. It's weird, and I was like, don't be weird. Just relax. And I did. So we got in, we got our seat, and then the event's supposed to start at 6. But by 6, we had just really been let into the stadium. And I see from my seat a line to the parking lot of more people coming in. And I don't see any Ghana soccer players on the field. I don't. And we can see off a little bit in the distance behind the stadium that we are facing is another stadium with like a tent. And it looks like, oh, something's going on over there. So we come to learn that what was really happening is that those of us who were in the general admission side, we were to enjoy the soccer training that was taking place on the other side, which was known as the VIP area. So the VIP people were watching the soccer training in the shade of a nice tent. And the general admission folks were in the sun facing a jumbotron, which was like 100 feet away. And that's where we were to enjoy the soccer training. And we were like, oh, hold on. That feels like false advertising, like we could watch that on YouTube maybe in the comfort of our own home and have access to our own food. But so it started to, as we stayed around, as we were hanging around, it started to realize, we realized things were not as we thought. Things were not as they appeared to, well, okay, they were appearing to be different than we expected. So that same mom who had been anxious before came and sat next to me and was like, Angela, I do not think we are actually going to even get to watch the players play. I'm like, oh. So, and she's like, I feel so concerned to tell my son and all his friends. And I brought his friends and we were all excited. And the kids thought they were going to get to maybe even see the players and like interact at all with them. So time goes on. Now, meanwhile, my daughter's having a lot of fun with her friend who's there. They're happy. A friend of mine who works at that university that I don't get to see very often, she came with her daughter. We were happy to see them. And my husband was just like watching another game while he was waiting. He's happy. And we did break down and get some water and a pretzel for my daughter. We got some concessions. Okay, yeah, expensive, but fine. We're fine. And there we go. And this is just kind of the choice point. This is kind of where maybe it's not really a climax of the story, but it's an important moment because I noticed right there, when you're like, it's the storybook you're reading, or in this case, it's an actual experience where it's like, choose your own adventure, choose your interpretation, choose your response. How do you want to frame it? So, because here's this whole thing that came up in my mind. So we're the general admission people. And it's like, so you guys invite us to come here, stick us in the sun, make us buy your food for dinner, which we don't want, and we're dehydrated, and we don't get to see the team, and we don't get to, I started to have this whole thing coming up, like, oh, we're the victim of this story. Who organized this? I'm picturing myself writing an email potentially, like, well, let me give you just some feedback on, what I would say was sort of a bait and switch, maybe. I'm not sure. Like a little bit of a like, yeah, who's in charge of this shindig? What's your email? And I was thinking, and I still felt relaxed, but I just felt like I didn't feel like enraged and like, let me start. But it's just that moment where it's like, okay, how am I going to respond? And and in the yoga that I do, the teaching that they essentially, the Kundalini yoga thing is you work your 10 body systems, is what they say. And you've got your auric body, you've got your physical body, you've got your soul body, you've got your positive mind, neutral mind, negative mind. You got all these aspects of self, right? And the whole point behind it is that you basically bring in a lot of energy into your system. And the practices, the meditations are to strengthen the nervous system. A lot of the exercises, you kind of put your body under stress so that you can learn to keep yourself calm under stress. I mean, this is quite like a military thing. People do different things to achieve the same result, right? So they might do what's that stuff down there? Manic training. I don't know. You might do all sorts of manner of thing to put yourself in situations where, yeah, you're under some type of stress so that you can stay calm. And I was very calm, but I just noticed like, oh, I could use my energy in this whole way at some point. I could do that. But here's what ended up happening. So at 7:30, when some of us thought we'd be going home and the whole thing be over, the 7:30, a few of the players came over to our stadium, started out with like 3 players. And then kids who got invited, which were not our kids, got to go do a training session with the players. So that's what we were essentially watching, is some strange kids playing with the Ghana football players. And so at first it was like, oh, yay, we get to see these guys running around. But as we just, I noticed it's all good. I felt happy. My family was there. I could have done a gratitude list if I needed to. I really didn't need to, but I could have, if I was really upset, I could have said, hold on, let me tune into that basic spiritual practice of what am I grateful for in this moment, you know? And to be honest, I was just grateful my husband came. Sometimes he's like opts out at these things. He's like, yeah, you can go, you go. You go. And he came and he was having a good time. And then at the end, as things kept going, once in a while, a player would come over kind of closer by. And then people started to do this thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to go get an autograph. So then the autographs started to like happen, and cut right to the end of this story is at the heart of the mom friend of mine, at the heart of the thing, what she most desired for the boys that she brought, because she brought her son and 3 of his friends, was that they would have some interaction with the players and really land like an autograph, because they wore these t-shirts and they wanted to get them signed, and it's like all this thing. They all got the shirts signed by multiple players in the end. And my daughter got her shirt signed, which she insists on wearing again, even though I thought, oh God, do you wash these things? It was like sweaty yesterday, but she was so proud of this. And my husband got his hat signed. I don't know. I didn't get anything signed. I was like the picture taker. But here's the point. It's like these things all happened. We had a good time overall. The energy of the whole thing was like really, really good, like really serene and peaceful. And I got in the car, and as I was driving home, I was like, so I was holding that whole conversation that was kind of like just like one option of an interpretation, or even just like an action I might take next. And because in addition to saying these guys totally kind of misled us on this whole thing, that was one thing. Secondly, my friend who works for that university was like, this thing is so under like hyped. This is Ghana football. She's really into like the African culture stuff. She's like, we could have had drummers. We could have had like African food trucks here. We could have taken this thing to the next level, And I thought, yeah, who's the organizer? Again, I'm like, who am I emailing? And then I get in the car and I'm driving home, and I thought, it just kind of gently dawned on me, like, well, you know what? Like by the end, everybody was really happy. The kids were psyched. My daughter was psyched. The vibe in the family, like with our family, was just so uplifted. And I thought, yeah, it wasn't really hyped, but there also weren't like hundreds of people to compete with to get close to the players. We could easily get close to the players. And I just thought like, oh, this is that way, like how things work out in a different way. And obviously, like if you just sit back for a second, it's like, the way that the ego speaks first and loud. It's like, oh, I have all these like opinions about this. Oh, I could have done this differently. And spirit's chill. It's spirit's calm, like, yeah, but yeah, but I got, like boxes checked, dude. Boxes checked. We got your boxes checked. Yeah, we got $30 from you for the concessions. Fine. No big deal. Um, but that was one thing. It was just a reminder to me, like, do I want to use all my energy to have all these opinions? Would I, because one thing I have to say, because if we are course students and we're in any situation like this or something different, how long did I sit in the stands and have different thoughts coming? And in the yoga tradition, I would be chanting a mantra. That's what my teacher literally has, like a mantra playing on her phone next to her wherever she goes, just for the mind training, that you would focus on something. We usually do two different mantras, but one of them is Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, which is like truth is my essence. Truth is my essence. I am one with truth. The other one is Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru. And like we are taught to just essentially have that running like a tape in our head. But that's what the course is as well. The course is like gives us a lesson every day that we can use as a mantra. So I could have been sitting in the stands, and if it's not as short, but I could have said, let not my mind deny the thought of God. Let not my mind deny the thought of God. And just whatever words I choose, it's whatever words I choose, the whole point is, hold on, I'm checking in. Hold on, I'm checking in. Because remember, I'm there with hundreds and hundreds of people. So when we get to the heart of the matter and we are course students, that means we are willing to be teachers of God. Just means that I keep checking in. Now, as have my spiritual practice, however many years, I've been doing the course for at least 13 years that I've been with Jennifer, but it's almost a little bit automatic for me. It doesn't mean that every second I kept checking in, but I do feel like it's almost on autopilot that my main thing is to stay relaxed. If I'm not relaxed, then I don't need to. If I'm not relaxed, that's a clear indication to choose a new thought. It's like, ooh, I'm not thinking thoughts with God if I'm not relaxed. But honestly, I feel like I've been just working this tool so much that I was relaxed, but I didn't fully bite the complaining like route, but I nibbled it. I kind of like I thought of it, but I couldn't even make it out of the parking lot with having like a more full realization, like, what do I know how that should have gone? Which is what I thought. And then I just drove home, like, yeah, I don't know. And give thanks for for what did occur. So that's just kind of, I feel like when I roll up into Sundays with Spirit, I have 7 options of things I could share because we are here to talk about what's it like to live the course. And, it's not always such uh, our experiences can seem like mundane or everyday type of things, but it just was a great, like subtle reminder that this didn't appear to go as planned. And yet I think the outcome was achieved in its own perfect way. And how did I do? I kind of felt mostly relaxed. And Jennifer in the Masterful Living program, we are encouraged. She has in her journals, you write something in the journal in the morning and you write at the end of the day. And I don't know if I do have mine. I have one right here because there's these questions to reflect on. And it says, it's like you write down your success today, you write down choices you made to support your body temple, anything you did that was unsupportive, choices I made to be kind and loving with myself. And these are just 1 or 2 sentences. Things I did that were less kind and loving, choices I made today to expand my connection with spirit, and choices I made today that were blocking my connection with spirit. And it's just to have a simple reflection. It's not an intended practice that would have you condemn or criticize yourself, as much as just, how did I do today? What stands out? And I think that's kind of, that's what I'm sharing today, is like a retrospective of how that one experience played out and what was in there. And really, if I were to add a question here, it'd be like, kind of, what was the feeling tone of your overall day? And I'm so happy to say that feeling relaxed is becoming more my nature. And that's a blessing. So sharing that, and then just see if we can connect anything to our lesson today. Because I always look at what I underlined, and I realize, I don't know if any of you are like longtime course students, but I have this feeling that if you're a course student for like 3 decades, the whole thing's just going to be one big underline at some point, because you go through and you're like, oh, that one's a good one. But yet the opening paragraph, which says, what makes this world seem real except your own denial of the truth that lies beyond? What but your thoughts of misery and death obscure the perfect happiness and the eternal life your Father wills for you? What could keep you from what you already have except your choice to see it not, denying it is there? So, a simple, straightforward connection is just, if I chose to see that one experience as just being just something I would complain about, I I would have missed that there was so much beauty that came out of that. It really felt really peaceful and good. And so I'm not going to mess with that. And so I think that's just what I want to share. And what I'll do now is just lead us into a bit of reflection, where you can take this message and whatever spirit directs me to say into your own mind, into your own heart, into your own life. So if you'd like to close your eyes, if you'd like to sit up tall, or place your hands on your heart, or sit in a meditative way, whatever's comfortable. And first, again, we are grateful for this opportunity to be reflective. Just grateful for this opportunity to be in community, sharing life in action, the Course in Miracles in action. And just a bit of reflection on how are we showing up in our own life? Are we checking in with spirit when we lose that sense of relaxation? So let's call to mind a situation which brought up some emotion recently, in the last week, 2 or a month, or whatever comes to mind. And not thinking that emotion is wrong in any way. Just, can we reflect? Can we go back in time, seeming time? And just notice, did I check in? Did I have space to see that I had options? And there's no right or wrong here. We're just noticing, observing. And just what is the overall feeling now when we remember we have this opportunity, we have this option to check in, that A Course in Miracles is providing us with the thoughts of God to replace our own personality thoughts, our own ego thoughts, or our own reactions. And what is it that we'd like to feel on a general basis? What word comes to you? I use the word relaxed often. What word comes to you? And the other thing I'd like to highlight here is for myself noticing, wow, things are not bothering me the way they used to as much. That I did not need to control. So just a moment of acknowledgement for something for you that feels like you're making progress in this, in a sense. You're being more your true self. Can you connect with that? Is there something you can acknowledge within yourself that feels like a healing? Okay. Just take a nice deep breath and exhale. Thank you. So, being the musician, it's so funny now. I feel like, and this is when I usually introduce Ted, but I can't. It's totally fine. I would like to, I'd like to do this really simple, it's kind of like a meditation, but it's so simple. It's really an act of gratitude. And I'm going to play a song and I'm going to just give you an optional mudra if you'd like to fully have the full experience. So let me just do one thing with sound. But I love doing this in my classes. I think that's right. Okay. And I do this, yes, often in my classes when I have a little extra time and I just want to share something more with them, or we're in the meditation section. So what we're going to do, this is a meditation. It's called for Guru Prasad. And it's really a simple thing where okay, one second. I'm like clicking on. Okay. We are going to sit in a comfortable position. We're going to cup our hands together with the palms facing up at the level of the heart. So somewhere right around your heart, you can cup your hands. and you press your upper arms, kind of like your elbows and your arms, against your rib cage. So they're kind of snug into the body. Hands are cupped, palms facing up. And we are here just, it says we're asking for a blessing. And whether we are asking for a blessing or we just kind of envision our hands like blessings coming down, and some people might have a visual like I've heard it said like a golden nectar or something pouring into your hands. But I just invite you to just be open to this. This could be a way of offering thanks, giving thanks. But when I teach this in class, I encourage the students to call in your blessings. So if we have a way that we want to feel in our everyday life, no matter what's happening, call that in. Call in all the spiritual qualities, the harmony, the joy, like whatever comes to mind, we are calling in the blessings and we're imagining that we're receiving them in our hand, in front of our heart, we're receiving them. Okay, I'm just going to do this for 2 minutes. I'm going to play this beautiful song and let's try this. Okay, and I'm going to go to Jennifer or somebody to just give me a thumbs up that you hear the song. Okay, I always do that. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Thank you. Okay, so eyes are closed. Palms facing up. Beautiful. So sealing all these blessings in, just giving thanks for all of you who are here. If you tried this practice, you can always do it with any, so you don't even need a song on. You could just, this simple mudra of being receptive, of just being open to Spirit's gifts. So thank you for trying that. And, that does to me connect with the lesson, because that lesson went on to say, deny not heaven. It is yours today, but for the asking. So that's like a practice where you ask for the blessings, and of course, as we are maturing on our spiritual path, we're not here with our hands open saying, yeah, Lamborghini and, high heels, shoe, you know what I mean? We're really asking for the spiritual qualities. What else could we be asking for? Or simply to remember who we are, simply to have the awareness, the recognition, or the cognition of like who I am. I am a divine child. I am a divine being, because that changes everything. You know, if I could go to that stadium, and I feel like I'm getting there. I'm not fully there, that I go to every single event and know that my true intention is to know the truth for everyone, to hold a high vibration for everybody. But I'm getting there. And honestly, in the last yesterday, particularly, no, it was 2 days ago. No, both days. I had people coming to me with kind of sharing their challenges with me, just kind of out of the blue. Or I saw someone at a farmer's market and said hi and said, "Oh, how are you doing?" Broke down. And I said, "Oh, it's fine," and held some space. Just, I keep feeling like the more relaxed I become, the more I have the opportunity to hold space, the more people actually are coming to me to be steady for them. It's very interesting. And it's a true blessing and a gift. So, I feel like we did this with Ted last time, but we could just, I feel like we have a couple people on video here, but maybe a couple other people who could participate in any way. But I'm just open to any thoughts you had, anything that came up for you, because I know that, Spirit's speaking to you perfectly the way whatever would help you. But would anybody like to share anything, any feedback, any ahas or questions or insights? And we can just open it up, and you can unmute yourself, or you could put something in the chat that we could mention. And Alexi, you're my answered prayer.
Well, you're my answered prayer too.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I attended a networking luncheon yesterday. Um, I know the woman through, she runs a networking event, but primarily I went because another woman from the States was coming and I wanted to meet that woman because I'm a big follower of hers. And so the hostess invited me because, we've never physically met. And I was out of sorts there. It was not my tribe. They were all more business oriented. And in networking to find out, what everybody did, I realized, that they're not interested in what I do, but that's not the point. I was just interested in what they did, but nothing jived. And so I left feeling a little out of sorts. But, I took some time to figure out why. And it was because, like I said, they weren't my tribe. But then you sort of had a different perspective at the end. You just had this comment that, bless them, love them anyway. And you just continue, or I continue on my journey um, with love, kindness, gratitude in my heart. So I tell you, it was absolutely perfect timing that you described the game, and it was so related to myself and how I sort of handled it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you, because I'm just here. I mean, I could say that I feel like I'm just here blabbering, but no, I'm not.
No, you're
Thank
not.
you. Thank you. Yes, and it's kind of that thing where so recently my Kundalini teacher, we had a very early morning workshop this morning at my 3:30 a.m. it started, and I was there. And even though we got home late from the game and we were all hungry because nobody's eating any of that stuff, um, but uh, she was talking about, now this is so course aligned, talking about our projection, but not the way the course necessarily exactly defines that. But she was talking about how in relationship with anyone, it is that whole, it's the same sense that we know that we're monitoring our thoughts because of the major amount of communication that we are doing in the unspoken, just from what we're thinking. What we're thinking is a projection. So, the other day, because I'm doing these practices so much, especially the yoga, which is supposed to help with that type of thing, the projection. And I went to pick strawberries and there were all these vendors there. And I really was kind of thinking in my mind, don't impulsively spend your money on everything just because you're excited. Like I was just kind of like thinking like stay straight on the goal of strawberry picking. But every vendor was like, hey, because I was like looking at them and really like wholeheartedly checking out what they have. And I know myself, I like to go and talk to everybody. I tell them they're all amazing. And then I end up wanting to buy something because I feel like I want to support everyone. And then I've spent like $230 I did not plan. And then, but today I thought, just get all their business cards, so you can go back and look later, but communicate. But that whole idea, Alexi, of like, in some sense, like, I don't want what you're selling, like right now,
Mhm.
I don't actually want what you're selling. But I had a sense of, but I'd like to light you up because I'd like to, not for any other reason, but I'd like to bring light to this moment. And I'd like to, because once I start talking with them, I feel that like kind of the oneness and I feel the I just feel an upliftment. So it's something to consider, right? Because I'm thinking when I went to the game, I'm thinking, what can I pack? I got to get there. What's the directions? But I would like to start putting on my sort of to-do list, like, why are you going there? Really? Okay, you're going there to represent he who sent you. Like, okay, yes, thank you. Um, because even if we don't want what people are selling, we are here to see, to like have our light in us, like meet the other one and like have a blast, light blast.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you for going first and sharing.
Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. And if anyone else would like to share, I think Jennifer. There you
Hey,
go.
um, I liked how you said that, if we've been studying the course for a really long time, more things get underlined, because like each time we read, it goes deeper. And I read something the other day that I think is in line with what we're talking about. Um, it's how we show up, and yeah, the thoughts that we bring, because everything is actually thoughts, you know um like I try to show up and see my brothers and see myself as the capital S selves that we are. And like if someone, which happens, a lot, if someone's being judgmental or uh, not kind, I don't give it power. I try to just continue to know who I am in truth and know who they are in truth, and just don't give power to the, oh, I'm, you know, unhappy about this, or I'm judging you about that, or whatever. I just, try to not give that power.
Yes.
Uh, and as you said, I think it does have an impact because, my my I do a Thursday evening course group, and my facilitator says there's no one else out there,
Yeah.
because there's just one mind. There aren't separate minds. So if we're thinking about the
Mm,
truth, that's all there really is. So it can't not affect who we who we think is separate from us, because they're not separate from us. So
yeah.
that's just all I have to say.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel like that was like my plan B speech was like, um, to talk about how, I swear these things come in when I'm like washing the dishes or something. but I'll think about, oh, because I have been super aware of how, and this is my best example because it's so easy to get. Like, because here I am with my family, my daughter, my husband, they're my best friend. They're like my best training partners. And my daughter might be upstairs and she might yell down to me. And, she's kind of asking for something. And who knows, I've got like three things in my hands and I feel like I don't want any other requests. Like, I'm not taking any right now. But she'll yell down to me and it will seem to be the cause of my trigger, right? It'll seem to be the cause of my frustration. And then I'll go like this, don't yell at me. And I'm yelling. And I'm like, look, is there one or is there more? Because the one that I'm saying, don't yell at me, I'm yelling. So often in the almost, and that's what the Byron Katie work has helped me with, because it's like how she teaches you in the moment. You think someone else doing the other thing to you, you can actually connect that you're doing it to them, or you're doing it to you, or they're not doing it to you. And then your whole thing is spinning around and it's like it's pointing at you, you each trying to point it to them. And then, um, but then I just had this thought. And so I'm just going to go there and throw it out. It might be another speech. It might just be this moment now. But it's this idea of, well, what if these people are coming, bringing you all these frustrating things, especially the humdingers, the people who bring you the humdingers, or they're either consistently doing the sand for your diamond consciousness. They're sanding your consciousness constantly. So they are challenging to you, but they're wonderful, but they're challenging. Um, it's like I just had this thought that because my goal, just like you're saying, Jennifer, the goal is to find a way to hold it in your mind for more than a split second that it's true that you're one with everyone. Because the mind so quickly wants to, I've been noticing it more, wants to throw in these theories about, well, and it's so interesting. It's happened to me with a friend of mine's daughter. Okay, this little sweet 6-year-old. And there was a couple things that happened when I last was taking care of her. And not major things, but all of a sudden I notice inside of me, my ego wants to say, you don't really want to take her with you anymore. She's kind of this, she's kind of that. I'm like, stop that. I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going with you on that one. But how often is it like sneaking in? It's almost like if you create space for the oneness like thing, something tries to fill that thing right up with judgments. So,
Yeah, my facilitator says it's like we're getting close to the love, and so the ego goes from suspicious to vicious.
nice.
Like don't, oh, you're getting close to love. Hey, don't forget about me, you know? And
Yeah. Are you, yep. Good
I just
one.
say I'm no longer interested in the ego thought system. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, no, not going to think that about a 6-year-old. Thank you. Alexi, you can get right in here. It's like we've got our own little breakout room. And anybody else is welcome to put something in the chat or go ahead, Alexi.
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I said I don't have anything right now. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what happened? Your hand got raised and
Oh,
it was
okay.
standing up. So there you go. You got look at Heidi. She's so good. You got volunteered to get in the mix. But thank you for what you shared, Jennifer. It's so helpful. And the other thing is, I could even tell when you said it that there's no one else out there. How many times could we hear that? I can even almost feel in my own mind a defense trying to block me from getting that, like really getting it. Like, yeah, Jennifer, yeah, we all know that one. Isn't that interesting? It tries to get in there and just almost be like, yeah, you already know that. Don't even explore it. You already know it. It's like, well, if I knew it, I'd have zero problems. So until I have zero challenges or conflicts, I'm still in the game, buddy. But here's the part of lesson 165, which reminded me of youth saying, essentially, it's like the extension of the healed mind to the other is like now is Christ's power in your own mind to heal as you were healed. And that's another thing we can think about going out in the world. If, let's, but I also want to say that the other part I wanted to bring today was I think a lot of us are doing this. We are doing it. We are doing this stuff. People are coming to us with their challenges. People are smiling at us. People are selling. Like it does work. And it's so rewarding, isn't it? And then it's just the more I do this stuff, it's like the more relaxed. So I don't know what word other people are going for, but I remember when my friend said, because we study with the same yoga teacher, she's kind of like saying, and these are all gurus, okay? And Jennifer's teaching was that she shared that she would like to be the one who's in the room with all these people who doesn't need to say a thing, but just there to hold the truth for everyone. Like just this silent anchor. And I was so impressed by that. Like, you don't need to be the one who's in front. You don't need to be the one everybody likes. You don't need to be, because that'd be such an ego thing. But if you're the one who's just almost like it's like you're streaming Christ consciousness, like you're streaming it, you're projecting it, you're just vibing that thing. It's like, it's not like an air freshener, but it's like a mental freshener. Like you should think of yourself like a mental, a mental freshener. Like you're lifting things up with just your presence. So thank you, Jennifer, for coming in here. Would you like to say anything else? Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to say, because you mentioned these are all gurus, and I thought, well, that is
Yeah.
stratification, right? And one of my first meetings with in this group that I told you I go to, um, the this woman was saying all this awesome core stuff. And I said to her, I go, oh man, I wish I knew this stuff as well as you do. And she goes, you do. And I was like, wow.
Oh,
She was seeing me as not separate from her. She was seeing my capital S self. And that, opened
I
my
know.
eyes. I will never forget that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful. I love saying that too. I love having those experiences where someone or I might think to say, I'm your mirror. I'm not some other thing. I'm mirroring you. Yeah. Yes. I often feel like I reference a lot of the Kundalini things so many times that I think that I'm like, yeah. So there are all these teachers, right? But it's almost as if they're saying the things that we do know. They're just reminding us what we already know. And it resonates so strong because we already know it, because it is already within us. And uh, but this teacher was saying that the goal, so Jennifer put it like to be the one who holds the truth for everyone. This other teacher said it like to be the most relaxed person in the room. And that's what is happening for me. People are saying, in the last week, I had different circumstances. I went to a play and the mother was freaking out about the daughter just got her period right before it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, she'll be okay. It seems like you got it covered. She's going to be fine. She'll be okay. I keep feeling like people are coming to me to say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And when you say it with conviction and they can feel that you feel that way, you have trust, it's very powerfully helpful to other people. So good work, Jennifer. Are you in the Chicago? Yes. Okay. Thank you for being out there. Oh, good. I'm just seeing stuff in the chat. Okay. Oh, I love it. Okay. Lots of good things. Oh, did I mention a book earlier, Alexi? What did I do?
Well, it was where you did your journaling every in the morning and at night, but I found it in
Oh,
my book.
you do know the workbook.
Yeah, well, there's because we've got two workbooks, so I thought, well, which one is it? So
Well,
anyway,
in the back of every single volume of the Masterful Living workbook is the daily journal.
oh,
Every
okay, right,
single one has a
okay,
section in the back, which so that you could do that every day.
okay. Yeah, I found it though. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, good. Okay. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I feel like we can move into our announcements. Thank you, everyone. And we'll just kind of touch base on what's coming up in the ministry. That's just so everybody feels up to speed. And wow, moving through June, cruising through June, which is just amazing. I know that we had a deep dive yesterday. It's just my page here is taking a while to load. Okay, I know we're in the middle of Change Your Mind About the World, which you can still get in on. Okay, so the big things coming up is this coming weekend, we do have forgiveness workshops both Saturday and Sunday. These are free. These are with Jennifer. They're falling around the Father's Day time. If that happens to be at all of a significant triggering time for you, or if you're like me, this is like my second Father's Day where my father has transitioned. And so we just celebrated my father's 1 year. We didn't really celebrate, but we acknowledged it. And so if at all the Father's Day thing has significance, or if you have other life issues coming up, highly recommend that you don't just sit with problems that bother you. Bring them to something like the forgiveness workshop and work it out. That's the thing that I remember Jennifer saying so often. Like if I might say in one of her courses that, oh, this is so bothering me, she'll say, what's your prayer about it? Have you done a forgiveness letter? Like, are you just sitting with problems? Like we're beyond that. We have great tools. We have solutions, you know? So that's coming up. And we are heading into our, right, so we just did our deep dive yesterday. Wow, yeah. We've got this coming up. The End My Self Sabotage 6-week challenge is coming up at the end of the month. I can't believe it. So, End My Self Sabotage. We have run that I have been a part of that for at least the last 6 years or more. And so that's a powerful 6-week program. And you get to do a lot of inner work through some really great worksheets that Jennifer sends out. And then we have a weekly group call where you can touch base with the group. So you do this great deep analysis of whatever you can recognize that you're doing to sabotage really knowing the truth. So that's coming up at the end of the month. I can't believe it. We're all behind the scenes, like getting excited and getting organized for that. So I think I'll just mention those. And additionally, you can make a one-time or an ongoing donation to support Sundays with Spirit, or just to support the ministry if it's something that's serving you in your life. It's just that way of giving back, tithing. If that's part of your spiritual practice, we invite those one-time or ongoing donations. So thank you, Heidi, for putting those links in the chat. Okay, Alexi, I'm assuming your hand just keeps getting raised by mistake. Yeah, okay, good.
Yes.
No problem. Just making sure. Okay, so this would bring us to our last number. And I have let Spirit guide me through this whole thing. I have not really planned much of any part of it. So you know what I'll do? I will sing the Longtime Sun. And the Longtime Sun is how we close our yoga class. And so this is like a blessing that we give to ourselves and the world. So, and I'm so used to doing it like in prayer pose, I might just do that so I don't like forget the words. So this is the Longtime Sun. May the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. We'll do that 2 more times. May the longtime sun shine upon you. All around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. And then we say 3 long sat nams to close the song and to remember the truth for everyone. So deep breath in. Sat nam. Sat nam. Sat nam. Sat nam. And so in that song, we sing one time to ourselves, one time to our brother and sister, like one time to our brother, and then one time to everyone. So that's the 3 times. And then we'll just say a prayer to close. So we're so grateful and thankful that we have this online space to come, to share, to let Spirit direct a message that will support each of us on our path. We are grateful for our path, grateful for all the spiritual nourishment that allows us to be calm. It allows us to be relaxed, and it reminds us who we really are and why we're here and who sent us and what is ours to do. We are grateful for the reminder that we go to bless the world. We go to share a healing for our brothers and sisters from our own healed mind. We are so grateful for Jennifer Hadley for her life's devotion to teaching and sharing and facilitating and really holding a container for all of us to heal all the blocks to love so that we can live A Course in Miracles. We can have the benefit of having life play out in any way that it wants to. And we are still centered. We are calm. We are relaxed. And we are a helpful presence to all those who are around us. We are grateful to say it again that there is only one, there is no other. And we allow Spirit to work with us wherever we are in the moment, working on whichever block is present, whichever blocks. So, in deep, deep gratitude, we go forth remembering these words. We share our healing with the world, with the one. In love and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for listening later. Thank you so much, Heidi, for being such a strong, steady presence behind the scenes. Love you all. Bye for now.